Welcome everybody to We Geek Podcast. Today is March 4th, 2021. My name is Adam, and as always, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
How have you been, man? How was your week?
Work, and let's say there's another four-letter word there. It's not work, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, dude. Have you played anything? Have you done anything nerdy, geeky?
let's see. I've been reading, what the hell is it? Light of the Jedi.
Oh,
I'm through part 1.
how do you like it so far?
It's good. Oh, it's very
Yeah.
good.
It's like an action movie, the first part of it.
It's
First-
no
Yeah.
kidding. And then what the hell have I been playing? I played because of GameFly. I decided, I'll try Demon Souls on the PS5, and that went quickly. And I remembered just how much I really can't stand those games.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, it's all me. I'm just bad at them, which is fine. But I was just like, yeah, this is exactly how I remembered it. No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's between that and work, that's pretty much been it.
You haven't started Persona Strikers?
I have a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I have a little bit.
I was curious.
And I'm enjoying what I'm playing. It's for anybody who watched the trailers for it and was like, yeah, it's Dynasty Warriors with Persona. It is, but that also means it's very heavy on the Persona, and as much as it is on the Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah,
So
I hear it's like a straight up sequel.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
That's awesome.
And so that's fun. But it's also, what I mean is, like, it's also very story heavy. A lot of Dynasty Warriors games, oh yeah, you can just breeze, if you want to breeze through the dialogue, you can, and go right to the fighting. There's still a lot of the Persona exploration in this.
Okay.
So that's something I know some people are not going to be crazy happy about that, because they just want the Dynasty Warriors gameplay, and I get that, I understand that, but you can't shortchange something like Persona.
Yeah.
But no, I am thoroughly enjoying it. It's a ton of fun. I think I've done the first, because it's not dungeons in this, it's jails now. So that's changed a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, it's jails. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been thinking about, I want to get something on the Switch. I didn't know what I was going to get. I was looking at that Mario game, the one with the cat suit thing. I never played that. It was between that, Bravely Default 2, or the Persona Strikers. So I'm considering it.
Strikers is a lot of fun. Strikers is definitely, for a Persona fan, it's definitely worth it.
The only thing that really hid me back was I still have that Dragon Quest game, and I just can't. I'm like, if I get another RPG and I have Dragon Quest just sitting here, and like, that is all the reviews for Dragon Quest are just out, just amazing. So I don't know. I'm conflicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's cool.
So that's been. I think that's pretty much everything.
You see any movies or
nothing recently?
Okay.
I think because the only thing that came out was Tom and Jerry, and I'll get around to it. It's
right.
It looks fun enough. It's definitely been bringing people in.
Oh, really?
Oh my God! It's been nuts.
Well, hey, I mean, there's some good news. I heard recently, what did the president just say, that he believes every American should be able to have access to the vaccine by May. Is that correct?
I think it was by the end of May. Yeah.
By the end of May. That's fucking great news, dude.
Right around the time that the season's supposed to start. We're not ready. We're not ready for it.
Yeah.
Not by a mile.
Yeah, well, hopefully they get more. I know it's to tell the company to get more staff, but
Yeah, good luck
more
with that.
people is a good thing. I mean, I know it sucks. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I'm sure these businesses are craving for people to come into their stores or come into their movie theater. I'm sure a lot of them are worried that they're not, even if they get vaccinated.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful. I'm looking forward to October. Where I hopefully, fingers crossed, right? Famous last words. We'll have some sense of normalcy, right? Like we'll have some sense of, oh, I can go see Dune in the theater on IMAX on a big ass screen with the speakers and everything else, or the
Yeah.
IMAX equivalent or whatnot. Like I look forward to that because I haven't sat in a theater since 2019, I think.
Fair enough.
And I had that popcorn, everything else. Granted, I haven't been sick. This is the longest I've gone without getting any kind of like cold or anything like that. So, but yeah, dude, I look forward to that. I look forward to being able to actually go out and do something and feel like, oh, okay, I feel a little bit normal.
Right.
And all those other sorts of things. Like I have a friend's wedding that I want to go to. All these things that I want to happen down in the future, but it can't until people get themselves vaccinated. So, but yeah, man. So I don't know. So no movies or anything. I think I saw, what was it, Gemini Man? I saw
Oh
that.
God, finally, really? Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I would have been upset if I saw it in the theaters. It was, um, I don't know. It was not Will Smith's best movie.
No, I mean
Yeah.
it's eh. Like it's not. I didn't think it was terrible, but it's not great.
It's something you catch on USA Network or something like that, and you don't feel like you wasted your time. But
Exactly. You're flipping through, and it's like something that'd be on FX.
yeah,
You just
oh yeah,
flip through, and there it is. Oh, I remember when that was out. Oh, we'll leave it on here.
yeah,
That kind of thing. Yeah,
yeah,
I think that's a perfectly fair review.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, what else? Warcraft, the friends. I can't think of anything else really. I have this game called Valheim that I still haven't played.
I've heard things about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
it
which
is.
I have nothing to follow up with on that other than I have heard things about it.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can pull it up here and try to explain it. I haven't played it,
Yeah.
but the way they put it is, uh, well, that doesn't really help this explanation. Okay, basically, um, it is. I forgot. I don't know what you would call it. It is when you're dropped into the world, it kind of looks like Breath of the Wild, sorta. It is a oh god, I don't even know how to explain it. And it's because I haven't actually played it, but everything that I've watched was it is like you're dropped into the world. You have to gather things. You have to survive. You build things. You build your home. You build your weapons. You build your armor. Um, uh, you you gain abilities like to open up portals and stuff like that. And when you're dropped into this world, there's different biomes, and so like you can't go into certain biomes. You can, but once you get there, you realize you're going to get hurt, or you need to go to this biome first to get certain kind of gear to go into the other one. It's hard to explain. I'm doing a really bad job on it, but like this is one of the most highly rated games on Steam, positive. Uh, when I saw the reviews and I saw just everyone yelling about it, and it's $20, I had to get it, but I just haven't played it. I just haven't had the time.
Right.
I will have more to talk about with it next week when I actually do give it a chance. But every once in a while, even if you don't play PC games or whatever, you hear, oh, wait, what's this? And that's what happened. I heard of it, and nothing but good raving reviews and I think it's single player, but I think it's opened up to where people can join you.
Okay.
So I'll check it out. It's one of those early access games, but like looks completely done,
Right.
And yeah, just every freaking YouTuber on the planet's playing it right now. So it's one of those where I was like, okay, I'll check this out, and it was I think $20, so it didn't put me back too much.
Nice.
And it's a big open world. I think certain areas are, what do you call it? Generated, where it's like it's random.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Or the dungeons are, I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, but, so anyway, next week I will have way more to say about it. It's just, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this game looks gorgeous. It's Viking-esque type stuff.
Yeah.
And, it's got a little bit of, not Minecraft, but like Minecraft-esque, where you chop the tree, you get wood, you get stone, you can build a home, you can build a fire, then you can build a workbench, then you can make weapons and armor, and so on and so forth. And the more you explore, the more you're rewarded. And like, there's also like bosses in the game where like, in order to open up a certain place, you have to face this boss and do certain moves. So it seems really cool. So
Nice.
I'm gonna be checking that out this week. But yeah, that's really it. I've gotten back into Pokemon Sword. I restarted it because I had no idea what I was doing in my last playthrough.
That's fair.
And I also spent most of the time just doing that one trade where you just hit the random button and someone sends you a random Pokemon.
Right.
I didn't like that. I had all these Pokemon that I don't know. So I just restarted that. So. Because I'm sure we'll talk about some of the announcements from this week.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, Pokemon Go, I'm trying to get out every day and walk and exercise as much as I can, and that has been a blast. But, yeah, that's about it.
Nice.
And I'm sure we'll talk about WandaVision later.
Yeah, we'll save that down towards the end there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but yeah, man. Let's start off. Is there any movie news?
We got a little. Spider-Man 3 finally has an official, honest, we swear it's really the real title. Because they did. I like the way they did the way they had fun with it, where everybody involved was posting their own title.
I love that. That was great.
Home Depot was fun. Phone Home, I think, was my favorite.
Yes.
But the official title is No Way Home, which I think had been rumored a while back, because it sounded familiar to me, like somebody had mentioned that or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
that title scares me.
It's that's fair.
I mean, the way I think about it, Tom Holland pretty much saved the franchise, right? When he called them up and got Sony and Kevin Feige to essentially get along, right?
Yeah.
And they agreed to let him finish off his franchise. And I hope that this is just a tease, that this is not the end of Spider-Man in the MCU. I like what they're doing so far. Sony has definitely, especially with the Miles movie, and the Spider-Man movies, they've been stepping it up, right? Like, I have nothing to complain about. If they pull him, that's gonna suck. If this is how they get rid of Spider-Man in the MCU, by having him, I don't know, they lose him in a Dimension X or something, that's gonna suck.
I don't think they're going to do that, simply because it's making so much money for both companies.
I completely agree. The only thing is his contract's up. That's what's bothering me. So, like, it's just like wrestling. The stuff behind the scenes sometimes is crazier than what's going on in front of the screen, right?
That's true.
And when that contract is up, is Bret Hart, is he leaving? What's going to happen here?
Yeah, well, look how well they used
the title.
Yeah, well, look how well they used him in WCW.
But that's what
he should have stayed.
That's what I mean. Is this going to be the Montreal Screwjob? I'm scared with that title. No way. And I hope they're just messing with us. And I hope, like, it's not. Well, guys, we had a really good hit with critical hit with Spider-Verse, so and Venom, so we're going to take it back now. I just hope that's not the case.
Except they didn't really have a critical hit with Venom, so there's
Not
that.
critical Venom, I'm sorry, but financial. My bad, sorry.
They didn't particularly have a financial hit with Venom either.
Yeah, they did. They did way better than they thought they were going to do with Venom. Venom was over $1 billion.
What? No.
Sure, maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong.
I don't.
I'm sorry, 856 million. You're right, but that's still for
Damn,
Venom.
I did not think it made that much money. That's on me. I really did not see that.
Yeah, 856 million. You're right. Totally right. 929 Rotten Tomatoes score for critics. Critics hated it. Fans.
Yeah, but that money's all that counts.
Money is all that counts. But yeah, 856 million for a Venom movie.
I did not know it made that much money. I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was at like the 150-200 mark, but that was just domestic. Yeah. Damn, I didn't know. Okay, fair enough. Fine. They had a hit. Yeah. Like I can't argue with that much money.
Right. Now, there's always been the rumor that Sony wants to sell their studio, right? Because they have the Spider-Man movies and they have Bond, but that's about it. It runs dry after that.
Yeah, but aren't they? Did they just pick up Bond, or are they selling Bond? Wasn't there something about Bond we covered a couple of months ago?
Did they sell the Bond franchise?
There was something about talks with it. I feel like.
Yeah,
I feel like MGM was looking to sell it off, I think.
Is MGM selling the James Bond franchise after No Time to Die? Yeah, there's always rumors, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's been, it's always talked about, but because I know it was, I forget who it was before that. Like, I know Eon is the company that owns the actual production rights, etc., etc. But it's always who gets distribution, and I feel like there was something about the end. Something was changing after No Time to Die, I thought.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I know that they were trying to possibly or what I was reading was they were exploring to sell it to streaming services, but that's just for distribution.
Right.
Not the actual franchise. Yeah. Oh God, James Bond Aston Martin DB5 sells for $6.4 million.
Well, I mean, Sony. Hang on, Sony.
You should just sell the cars,
right? Sony doesn't have Bond anymore. It's Universal.
Is it Universal?
It is Universal. No, because Spectre was the last one, I think. I think Spectre was the last of the Sony rights. I think it went to Universal for No Time to Die.
Did it?
I'm pretty sure. It seems to me I remember that because that's why. What wasn't?
So it says since 2018, Universal Pictures took over the home entertainment distribution rights to Bond films.
Yeah.
But the home distribution, I thought Sony made them.
No. No,
okay.
MGM makes them.
Well, never mind.
Yeah.
So what does Sony own besides Spider-Man?
I'm sure they have something. I just can't. But here again, this is the problem. It doesn't just spring to mind.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
You have to actually think about it.
Here's the thing. I don't understand why they don't make movies from their video games.
Well, look how well video game movies usually turn out.
I agree, but with the right talent, the right production. I mean, look, I think look how Kevin Feige took a genre like superheroes and made it like, hey, these are must-see movies. Now TV shows. Now it's they can do anything they want right now with Marvel. I don't see why you can't do stuff like, Last of Us obviously is going to HBO Max, but like Sony has like legit. Wait, okay, so they actually did. I'm assuming it was Sony that did Uncharted movie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that they have.
And The Last of Us on HBO Max. Like they'll have
The
those.
Last of Us. Okay, but HBO Max is Warner Brothers, so they must have. I wonder if they gave the rights to Warner Brothers to do that. Well, oh, they have Jumanji, don't they?
They have Jumanji. They have Ghostbusters.
They have some legit things that can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just thinking like God of War, all this stuff, right? Like they could have a lot of franchises. I guess I'm just thinking like from games to movies, they could do a good job. I'm not saying sell it to some hack to put it out on some, like every other video game movie. Just seems like the production's bad, the acting's bad, nothing's really good on it.
Yeah.
But that's right. I forgot about Uncharted movie. So yeah, that'll be out. What, this year?
I think it's next year. I know
Next year?
I know it's supposed to be this year, but
Yeah.
Uncharted. I think it's next. It says here July 16th, 2021. I think that's the original release date. February 11th, 2022. So yeah, it is next year.
Okay.
It was originally set for release June 10th, 2016. So,
Right.
They missed that one by a little bit there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was reading something where what's his name? The one who plays Spiderman, the one who plays
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland, yeah. He was saying like how he was trying to act cool. He kept trying to be like Mark Wahlberg in the movie, and I'm like, why would you think that you need to act like Mark Wahlberg in this movie?
Because Mark Wahlberg is playing Sully, and
I know he's playing Sully, but that's not his character in the movie, right? Like,
no, but that's Nathan Drake's mentor. So from a character psychological standpoint, it does make a slight bit of sense.
But Nathan Drake's character is nothing like the human Mark Wahlberg.
No,
like,
but
there's no comparison to his character and that actor.
No,
right?
But the Nathan Drake character being mentored by the Sully character played by Mark Wahlberg.
So, I get that, but they're fundamentally not the characters at that point. Right? I mean, so like it's like if you said, I don't know.
I think you're missing the point of the quote. I don't think he was saying he wanted to be like Marky Mark. I think he was saying that he was trying to be like Mark Wahlberg as he was portraying the character of his mentor.
Right, and I guess what I'm saying is that if that's the case, then these two people are not playing the characters from the video game. It's like saying, hey, we need to have this. I don't know another way to put it. It's like him saying, let's say Jonah Hill was playing Sully's character. Well, I need to act like Jonah Hill. It's still completely not the same characters as in the. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't, because I think you're thinking that Mark Wahlberg is playing Sully as Mark Wahlberg, and I don't think that's what's happening.
No, oh, man, I don't know.
That's what it sounds like you're saying.
No. What I'm saying is these characters act nothing like that. So, for example, if he's going, oh, I need to act more like Mark Wahlberg because Mark Wahlberg's cool. That was literally the quote. I was trying to act as cool as him. That's not the character of Nathan Drake. He doesn't try to act like Mark Wahlberg, right? He doesn't even try to act like Sully in the game. They're very different.
I think that if this is an up and coming Nathan Drake, I can understand the idea of from a character psychological standpoint saying I need to act like my mentor, who just happens to be Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, I know. I guess I'm just saying that Mark Wahlberg shouldn't be in this movie. It's like if it was Will Smith. It just wouldn't make sense. Will Smith acts very different than how Sully would act, right? Or any actor, if pick anyone that's completely different from Sully's character. If they were just like, well, I'm trying to act like him, it's like, wait a second. If it was Will Ferrell, and he goes, well, I need to act as cool as Will Ferrell, I would be like, that's ridiculous because This character does not act like that.
No, I don't. See what I don't think that Tom Holland is saying I have to act like Mark Wahlberg, as in the person Mark Wahlberg. I think he's meaning it in terms of the character of Sully. He didn't say I need to act like Sully. He said I need to act like Mark Wahlberg because that's who's playing the character. I think he would have. I think he would have said it the same way if it was Jonah Hill or Will Ferrell. Maybe not so much Will Smith because that would have been awkward as hell. But I think it was just.
I'll find the quote, but it was essentially saying that in most of his movies he acts a certain way, and in this one he says he's never going to do this again because it became such a bad habit where everything he was trying to act cool, he was trying to act suave. He was trying to act, and he felt it came off wrong, where he just and he also went on to talk about how, when he did Spiderman, they had to stop him and say, "Why are you walking like that? You need to walk like a boy. You need to walk like Peter Parker." So he had to change his mannerisms to like a kid in high school and not like a 20-year-old kid, right?
Right.
I guess that's just the way I took it. Was like he didn't say Sully's character. He said I had to act as cool as Mark Wahlberg, and it kind of got in the way where I got in my own head trying to be suave and stuff like that. And I kept thinking that's not either of these characters. Why would you act like that?
I think
if anything, he should have watched like I don't know. Like the Firefly or something. Like there's other characters to I don't know to try and be.
Okay, so looking at his whole quote and everything in context, it just seems like he picked Mark Wahlberg to name drop because it was a point of reference that people would go, oh, so like that. It's right. The whole context of it is like he wanted to be, what's the quote here? Very tough, very stoic guy. Right, and then he says basically be Mark Wahlberg, and Mark Wahlberg is not a tough or stoic guy.
He's not.
So that's what I mean. I think we both got too hung up on the name drop, and it was just that he's trying to be, what everybody thinks of.
Harrison Ford, I would have said yes.
I would have said no because but he wasn't trying to act like Harrison Ford, because I mean Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones has moments where he freaks out. Like this is more like if he had said Bruce Willis, that I would have understood. That would have been perfect in terms of like how to frame this. Oh, you're standing around looking like none of this is going to bother you because you have plot armor and you're a dick. Got it.
Right. I guess the Harrison Ford thing is, yes, like as the audience, you see where he freaks out.
Yeah.
But he still tries to put on the persona that, nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
But he does freak out with snakes and all that other stuff. Yeah.
Right. No, it sounds like what Tom's actually saying is he tried to be just, he wanted to be, and I'll use this as and this is a slightly convoluted example, but it's what popped into my head. He's trying to be what Star-Lord thinks he is.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Right.
But he's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. And I do like the idea of Tom coming out and just saying, look, so whatever problems you may have, they're probably my fault. I own that.
Yeah.
And I respect that, and I hope that, should everybody look at this and just go, yeah, man, this was on you. Sony will say, yeah, but he owned up to it and he knows what he screwed up. And we like the kid, so we'll give him another shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it should be good. I mean, we'll see.
It's got Mark Wahlberg. My hopes are not terribly high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's another thing. Oh, we need somebody to be a mentor figure, somebody who can be wisecracking, but also somebody who you don't particularly want to mess with. And I know that Mark Wahlberg in the past has had his law enforcement troubles, stabbing somebody almost to death for, hate crime reasons. But that's not the same thing as actually being a tough guy. So it's, I don't know.
No, I'm right there with you. I agree. That's why it kind of threw me off. I'm like, no, don't.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what
We'll
happens.
see. Yeah.
But,
Cool.
but anyway, anyway, moving along to some actual good film news. Neil Blomkamp, in a recent interview, talked about how he is working on developing a District 10 script. So that will be interesting. It's been a long time since District 9. So
Oh yeah.
I would love to see what happens next in that world.
Yeah.
Because God, yeah, it has been a while. I can't believe that's one of those things where you're like, yeah, that was a fairly low budget movie, and it came out a long ass time ago.
It did. Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
um, just switching back to superhero news for a minute, Warner Brothers has decided to to reboot Superman again because you would, which I think is unfortunate. I think this is probably the final nail in the coffin for Henry Cavill not coming back.
Yeah.
Although maybe, I don't know, but I doubt it.
Oh well, no, I definitely think he could come back in a bunch of different ways. But I think you're right. This is definitely them moving on from him.
Right. It's going to be a J.J. Abrams production.
Mm-hmm.
So take that however whichever side of the internet you land on with that. And the interesting thing is the script is going to be written by Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yes.
So that's got me very curious.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think he currently writes. He's a comic book guy, right? He writes Captain America right now.
Is he on Cap right now? Because I think he did Black Panther for a while, right?
Yes, he did Black Panther. He's also the reason why we got the Watchmen series. In a weird way,
Yeah.
Damon Lindelof read his article about the case for reparations on the Atlantic, and he didn't have an idea for the Watchmen series until he read that, and he was like, "Look, I can in a weird way, it was not." I don't want to put words into his mouth or rephrase it, but he was just saying that sparked the idea of I can do this show that actually says something about America right now, and that's why he told HBO that let's do it. I have something to say, and then that's why we got that wonderful season. Was because of his article. So
yeah,
dude's a good writer.
Yeah, because I was gonna say he was because he's a journalist, and then it was just like, hey, by the way, can you write other stuff too? He's like, sure, I'll give it a shot, and it,
Oh, yeah.
what do you know? It turns out really good.
Oh yeah.
But so that'll be interesting, and of course this sparked a lot of it reignited the rumors of a Michael B. Jordan Superman.
Definitely.
And I mean, there's I'm down. I don't care. Like Superman doesn't have to be a white dude. He's an alien for God's sake.
There's been a couple of black Supermen that wear the chest, wear the S on the chest in the comics.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they'll probably do Val Zod. He's probably the most interesting of the Superman of color. It's essentially he's from Earth 2. So to me, this may be them expanding into a multiverse. I know there's been a lot of talk of the Flash is always the reboot button, right?
Yeah.
So with news of the Flash movie coming out, I'm assuming this is going to open up the multiverse. Now, we've already seen it happen in the television, right? I'm sure this is going to open that up.
Yeah.
And so he's a really cool character. I mean, in that Earth 2, basically, a lot of the big guys go out, and I believe he's from Krypton. He was sent here. He knew Supergirl, or they were friends or something like that. But it's interesting. It's an Earth 2 story. I'm assuming that's the route they would go. There's also another, I forget the other character's name. I don't know. I'm trying to pull it up here. Oh, Calvin Ellis, which is another character. But he's kind of, he's like president. They base like his likeness in the comic kind of on Obama, where he's from Krypton as well, lands here, and just goes a different route. And so I don't know. Should be interesting though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember that issue because that was part of. Oh, I forget what crossover I think that
That
was.
was the multiversity with what's his face, the writer who's kind of crazy. I forget his name.
Yeah, it was Morrison,
It
right?
was it
Yeah.
was Grant Morrison. That's right. Yeah. Um, but yeah, uh, should be interesting though. I like J.J. Abrams. I like Bad Robot Productions. I understand why a lot of people are like weary because some of the projects he touched they don't like. But he's also just a producer on it. He's not directing it. He's not writing it. The important thing is the writer, and they got a good one. So,
Yeah, hell yeah, they did.
yeah. So this should be good. This should be interesting. What I was saying is this doesn't close the door on Henry Cavill. It might let Henry Cavill go do other things right now. Like rumor has it that he's going to be doing a Mass Effect series because he was caught reading a Mass Effect script where he thought he could blur it out, but I guess he didn't realize that there's technology where you can unblur it.
Yeah.
And so they could easily, if this is like an Earth 2 movie, or especially if they open up the multiverse, it doesn't mean he can't pop into it or show up or somewhere down the line, pop into the DC universe and be Clark Kent. But I think this is a much needed pivot where, after what Justice League comes out this month.
Yeah. Oh god, that is this month, isn't it?
That's going to be
the 4-hour rated R HBO Max exclusive.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, hopefully that's closure to them with that part of the DC universe. They got what they wanted.
They're gonna look at it. No, because many. No, this is the crowd that's gonna look at that and say, "And we want more of that. Do more of that," because they don't understand god awful movies when they're staring them in the face for 4 hours.
Well, I'm being hopeful that has some closure for some people, and that we can move forward.
You be Superman on this, I'll be Batman. No, it ain't gonna happen.
Right. Well, I look forward to it.
Zack Snyder's star is still so bright that Netflix plastered his name all over the Army of the Dead trailer, which looks as bad as I thought it was going to.
They didn't show anything. I was like, what was this movie? I saw Dave Bautista, but that's about it.
It's a literal army of zombies attacking Vegas, and because the zombie apocalypse has already happened, and so now people are going to try to rob a casino vault because apparently money is going to mean something after the end of the world. No, this entire thing sounds stupid. It looks terrible, and it's further proof that Zack Snyder needs to stop being given hundreds of $millions to waste everybody's time.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm over it. I can't tell. I get it. Enough is too much.
Yeah. Well, at least it'll just be on Netflix, so if you want to check it out, you can. If you don't, you can ignore it.
I happily... No, you can't ignore things on Netflix because they throw them in your face every time you log in. No, I don't like this. Okay, we won't show you this again, except for every time you log in. I
can't tell you the last time I put on Netflix, actually.
They have there's a little, like, docu-series they have on right now. It's about samurai. And I gotta remember, it's something, give me a sec, because I want to make sure I get the title right, because it's actually really good.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I did actually turn it on, and then I was like, I don't see anything to turn off, but I saw that.
Yeah, Age of Samurai. It's a 6-episode, like, here's, it's the rise of Nobunaga and Masamune and Tokugawa. And it's very, it's a docu-series, people are narrating this, and there's occasional, like, dramatic reenactments or whatever you want to call them. But it's really good, and it's really interesting.
Well, then I'll check that out. I was also told to watch something called Warrior. I don't know what that is.
The movie?
I think it had to do with Bruce Lee.
I do not know.
I don't know either. Is it a TV show? Warrior is an American action drama television series premiered 2019. It's based on the original concept treatment by Bruce Lee. Executive produced by his daughter, Shannon Lee, and Justin Lin and Jonathan Troper, known as Cinemax. Okay.
Wasn't this the thing? Because he was working on a thing. Like, wasn't he trying to, like, write a series before he
I
died?
think so.
I think that's
And
what
I
this
think
is.
his daughter picked it up. So
Gotcha.
I don't know. I was told to
Gotcha.
watch it, so I want to check it out.
Fair
Oh
enough.
yeah, I'm looking at like the trailer now, and whoever this actor is you can tell that Bruce Lee would want to do something like this because the way he's moving and stuff. It's
Yeah.
quick. Yeah. Cool. I want to check that out. Yeah, I was actually just told that today. But yeah, okay, I'm going to check out the Netflix series, the Samurai one. But I feel like I'm turning on every other app when I want to watch something. Like, I know I'm going to be checking out The Expanse because I think the season is almost done, the new one. I wanted to build a few of them up.
Okay.
I'm turning on Disney for WandaVision, and then, of course, we're going to roll right into Falcon Winter Soldier. I've been watching a lot of the WWE documentaries.
They're fascinating, aren't they?
Oh, I love them.
Which ones have you been watching?
I saw Big E's, which was
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
I saw God, who didn't I see? I saw Undertaker's The Last Ride
Yeah.
docuseries, which was fascinating. Like
I love that because it's finally just him sitting down. You know, it's been 30 years and finally he's just sitting down and talking about his career. You know, the same way everybody else does. But
Yeah.
it took so long because it's the Undertaker. And
Right.
they kept that kayfabe alive forever, and finally he's just like, nah, it's this is done.
Yeah.
I'm good. So let's talk about it. Let's tell some stories.
I think what happened was they were like, okay, we're going to document his WrestleMania in Orlando moment. And then they were like, oh, he's not done.
Yeah.
And it was a vicious cycle of I come back and it's good. I come back and it's bad. So I gotta do one better. Do I really want to hang up the boots? And they still left it as well, I'm pretty sure I'm done now. But if Vince ever needs that call, I'm like, oh my God, just stay home. We need you to rest, Undertaker. Put your guns on the mantle and stay home.
Yeah.
But it's all the road stories I like listening to. It's all the behind the scenes stuff and the history. I watched a whole bunch of them. I watched there is I don't know if it was like Untold Stories or something like that. It was basically the Undertaker and the Randy Orton feud. And
Okay.
this was when I didn't watch wrestling, so I didn't know a lot of these matches and the storytelling behind it or whatever, which was interesting.
Yeah.
My favorite is when they do get goofy, like when the Undertaker opens with the coffin and he's in the coffin,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, "How is he?" I'm just like, this is so silly, and I love it. I love how outlandish this is.
I mean, it's the fun of it. You know?
It's so much fun, and then of course they have the stunts where they set the coffin on fire, and Randy Orton is talking about how like this is where I actually could have died because I was pouring gasoline and kerosene on all over the place, and I wasn't thinking of how it was splashing all over me.
Uh-huh.
And everyone was like screaming, Randy, it's all over you. And he's like, I couldn't hear anybody. And I lit the fire and it goes up and he goes, I was half an inch away from being set ablaze. Like legitimately. He's like, but things when you get your adrenaline rush like that, you don't think about it. Little things like that. And I've been watching a ton of those documentaries.
Yeah.
I've also been listening to the Cornette podcast, and he's chock full of stories.
That much is true.
Yeah.
That's one thing nobody can argue is that boy does Corny have some stories.
Oh, he's got so many stories, and especially about Vince McMahon, and I've been listening to a lot of his and JR's podcasts, and they say pretty much the same thing. They just have different ways about it.
That's fair. Yeah.
JR is very polite with the things he says. And Jim Cornette is just kind of wild.
And everybody has an opinion about Cornette, but I will never. I'm not crazy about some of his takes, but he has more than earned the right to have them for sure.
Oh, of course, yeah,
There's,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah,
There's nobody who's gonna say, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
right.
You can say he's wrong, but Jim Cornette knows a thing or two about a thing or two. You know.
Oh yeah. He prefers certain kind of wrestling, right? And he likes to make fun of a lot of the newer stuff. But it's like, hey, it's your friend likes Pepsi and you like Coca-Cola. You can still talk about him. You just have a different taste in it. So that's how I see it when he talks. But hearing the stories and on the road and like people will ask the craziest questions like, how did you guys wash your clothes? and he explains, well, for 6 months I only did it 3 times because the wash was broken, and you can't have Jim Cornette down at the local laundromat to get his ass kicked by some local person. So I don't. Their stories are just so interesting.
Yeah. I'll tell you one that's one of the because the WWE Network also has a lot of the like feature length documentaries. Some of the ones that were like the DVDs back in the day.
Okay.
One that's really interesting, and I think you would like is My Name Is. I think it's called My Name Is Paul Heyman.
Okay.
And it's the history of Paul Heyman from being a kid up until I don't know, somewhere in the early 2010s. I think something like that. I think around the time he started again with Brock. But it's really fascinating because you learn a lot about like Paul was a hustler. And he moved and he stepped on toes, but he didn't care because he had a plan and he was going places. And, and if he was gonna crash and burn, man, he was one of those who's like, I may slam into this wall, but I'm gonna leave a hole in it.
Right. Oh yeah.
But it's really fascinating because you also learn a lot more about what happened with ECW because it's very Paul has never been shy about. He didn't that last year in particular was not some of his best business decision making. Put it that way.
Oh yeah. When Jim Cornette talks about him, he was like amazing booker but terrible at business.
Yeah. And Paul understands that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think all these people are bringing up, they all have a lot of respect for each other, even if they disagree with a lot of the stuff, they still, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting hearing these stories. It's you like the Muppet Show, right? It's all the most interesting things are things going around the actual show than the show itself. So
right.
So it's really cool to listen to those. I even watched. What was the one? One of the Uso brothers had one. I was just going through the 24. Braun Strowman's also.
Yeah.
Dude is a big teddy bear.
Yeah, he is.
Like it's interesting hearing. Braun Strowman is probably the biggest person on that show, and yet he's there, crying and putting his heart on his sleeve in the interviews, talking about depression, talking about suicide, and talking about the downs that he had in life, but also with the positives. With that comes his struggle to want to do better and be better. And everyone said, well, you're just a big guy, that's no reason I like you. And he had to prove everyone wrong that no, I can move, I can be agile, I can be entertaining, I can be good on the and he went from people see him as one thing to now he's one of the biggest stars they have, right? So
yeah, and that's why he gets the coveted Shane McMahon match at WrestleMania this year.
Well, who doesn't, right? AJ Styles had a Shane McMahon match. Undertaker had a Shane McMahon match. So I think it's interesting seeing the other side of the wall.
Oh, absolutely.
And his perspective, like he was just throughout the documentary, he kept saying, "Hey, I woke up on the right side of the dirt today," and it's like that's such a good fucking attitude to have when everything's going around it's shitty. And they were filming his documentary during COVID, so they couldn't get the stereotypical WWE documentary. It was really quiet moments of sitting with him at the park and him talking about his childhood and sitting like where his car accident that he had with his parents and his mother, she got brain damage because of it. So like it was just it's such an interesting peek behind the curtain, and I became obsessed with it the last couple of days. I've been watching so many of them. I'm like, this stuff is so fascinating.
And there are plenty to watch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've been going through that. So sorry, didn't mean to get so just turned off, distracted or whatever, or throw us off the podcast. So
No, man, that's all right.
yeah.
So it's a good rabbit hole to go down because there's so much content and it's fascinating. Like all that stuff, the chronicles, the 24s, the 365s, the whole feature length documentaries. They're ridiculous. They're so good.
Oh yeah. And after watching the Undertaker one, the last episode where they're talking about the match that he had with AJ Styles, I couldn't help but think, why don't they do a television show that's like a WWE cinematic universe? You basically set it up like Mortal Kombat because you have these larger than life characters, and you do more of that as like a weekly, as like some other show that you put on.
That's what they need, more wrestling on TV.
No, on their application. Is it wrestling? Or are those just? I guess it is wrestling, sort of, but you know what I mean. Those cinematic, where they're throwing themselves off of you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think so much. I get what you're saying, but I think that runs the risk of diluting that kind of match.
I guess I just thought of like, this would be a cool series, 10 episodes, if it told a story and you had these larger than life characters, like you have whatever kind of story going on where they're going through the country and they're basically comic book characters. You have this guy who can teleport and come back from the dead. Granted, there's not as many characters these days as there used to be.
And therein lies your problem, I think. That's
Undertaker's, you have the Fiend, right? And they're doing it with the Fiend. All this stuff with the blood and the Alexa Bliss is fucking killing it with that stuff.
Yeah.
And Randy Orton, of course, but you need more characters. You're right. You do need more characters that are comic book characters like that, where it's like this guy shows up and he's got, whatever. But I don't know. I was just thinking about that. I was like, why don't they do more of this? Like, do the wrestling, do the Raw and stuff, but that would be dope. Like a completely separate thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Talk
about Superman.
Yeah, fair enough. Last little bit of movie news that I found was some more casting for the live-action Pinocchio movie.
Okay.
Cynthia Erivo is going to be the Blue Fairy, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to be the voice of Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, okay.
So let your Robin be your guide, I guess.
I watched a movie with him over the weekend, the one where he goes back in time.
Where he goes back in time, or where his older self. Yeah, Looper.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Looper. Yeah, I recently watched that.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. I've seen it before, but I put it on. I was like, oh, okay, I haven't seen this in a minute.
Yeah.
Forgot how it ended. Yeah. That's cool.
Right. That was all the movie news I could find. You found some stills from the Space Jam sequel, I think?
Oh yeah, they released the Space Jam, or a couple stills from it. Basically just Bugs Bunny and some kid. I'm not sure who the kid is.
I don't know.
I like that he had a Goon Squad jersey on.
Because I think that's the new conceit. Because I forget, they put out a synopsis a while back, and I honestly was not paying all that much attention to it.
Oh, okay.
But because it's not the same as it was in the past. Obviously, it couldn't be, because that would just be very, very strange.
Right.
But it's the Toon Squad versus the Goon Squad, I think, or something like that. But
well, no, the Goon Squad is the bad guys.
That's what I mean.
Right. But I'm wondering why the kid has the Goon Squad shirt on, though. That's all.
Maybe he's not a Looney Tunes fan.
Right. I don't know if that's it's supposed to be LeBron James' son, or
it might be
some random kid.
And that I would get. That would make sense.
Right. Like, Dad, I'm going for the bad guys.
The Looney Tunes. Well, I mean, let's think about it. The Looney Tunes are how old?
That's true.
It's
lame.
Look, man, kids. That's not
The jersey does look cooler, the purple one.
I give you that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Goon Squad, man, those would sell so much. Hopefully, they got the merch ready for that.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goon Squad would sell a lot of merchandise. That's a perfect name for a jersey on a jersey.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool.
But,
all right.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens when that happens. We've got a lot of Plus news this week.
Yeah.
We'll start with Disney Plus. We got a few release dates for things. The Bad Batch, the animated Clone Wars spinoff, is coming May 4th. Because of course it is.
That's right after Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think these all. I don't know if it's right after, because I don't know how long. Maybe. There's probably a week. There may be a little more. Once with the different franchises, I think they're gonna break a little differently.
Oh, May.
I think
It's in May. Gotcha.
Because is it gonna? Well, I don't know. It's what 8. They're 8 episodes, and it starts in March, April, into May. It might be.
Oh.
It might be the thing where it's like, hey, finale, looking back, making of, and then the Bad Batch could be. I don't know what the episode count is on the Bad Batch, but I think it's going to overlap a little with Loki, because Loki is June 11th, and that's 5 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So I think was that 4? Yeah, 5 weeks. So I think there's going to be some overlap there, and that's what I mean. Like, I don't think, I think going forward, they're not going to be stacked crazy on top of each other, but
Right.
I think within the same franchise,
Yeah.
they won't overlap. But I think like Star Wars may overlap with Marvel. Will obviously overlap with Pixar, because the Monsters at Work series, the sequel series to Monsters Inc., premieres July 2nd. That's what, 3 weeks, I think.
Right.
So
It seems like they're like eventually going to get to the point where they want to have a new, fresh episode of a Marvel or a Star Wars thing out weekly.
yeah, and then
Which would be awesome.
And then whatever it is that they're doing for the younger audience.
Right. Pixar, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, Disney Plus, it's great.
Yeah. We got the lowdown on Paramount Plus this week, which is just going to be a rebranded CBS All Access, but they're going all in on it, movies, TV, the whole bit. They announced series sequels for The Italian Job, Love Story, Flashdance, and Fatal Attraction.
Okay.
Because if there were ever movies you wanted a TV series to follow up with, Love Story is the one right there, I'll tell you.
Right.
They announced 6666, which is a Yellowstone spinoff, which I know you're very, very excited about.
Oh yeah, but here's the thing: Yellowstone, is it on Paramount Plus or is it's on Peacock?
I think it's currently on Peacock because, that's how streaming deals work. Sometimes deals are in place before other things are announced. Look how long it took to get all the Marvel movies migrated over to Disney Plus.
That's true.
That kind of thing.
I don't know which one I'd rather have. I guess Paramount, because it has the Star Trek stuff.
And the Nickelodeon stuff.
And the Nickelodeon stuff, so yeah. These are... Okay, so this is going to be... there's a prequel. Wait, so this is going to be the third Yellowstone series, so...
Right, because there is another one that they were working on, too.
Yeah, 1883, which is going to be put out on television. And so this one, the 6666, it's about some ranches out in Texas.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I think there's like 4 ranches something to do with the number 6. So yeah. Okay. Yeah, I love Yellowstone. If it has the same kind of writing and stuff like that, then I'm all on board.
Nice.
Yeah.
But they're doing that. They confirmed a Frasier revival with Kelsey Grammer. Because I guess people were really, really clamoring for that.
Yeah.
I was not among them, but okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Other things that are getting revived over on Paramount Plus, Behind the Music, which, okay, interesting.
Cool.
Unplugged. All right,
Cool.
fine, fair enough. And Yo MTV Raps. Who in the hell even remembers Yo MTV Raps? Honest to God, like,
Yeah, I mean, people our age, right? Probably no one younger.
No, I mean, everybody, they're more interested in Wild 'N Out than this,
Yeah.
But okay, sure, fine, whatever. That's part of that content umbrella. Might as well do something with it.
Yeah.
They announced a couple Paramount Plus exclusive movies. The next Paranormal Activity will be exclusive to Paramount Plus.
I'm all on board for that.
That's fine. They can keep it. You can have it. I don't want it.
It kind of sucks in a way because those movies I've always thought were movie theater going movies. Those are audience movies where the audience is a part of the experience.
Right, because of how it sold the viral marketing for the first film. It's why the first film did so well, was they used that test screener footage of the audiences, which I should have known better than to trust a general movie-going audience for a horror film. But, that's on me.
I loved it. That was my jam. But that sucks it's just going to be out on streaming because it's going to take away from part of the experience. So,
but then you don't have to pay a distributor. You don't have to worry if it flops.
Right.
That's
true. That's true.
I get why they're doing it, especially with things the way they are now. Everybody is looking at, the movie theater future is still kind of uncertain and what have you, and everybody predicts either doom and gloom or a full recovery, and there's not a whole lot of in between. I think it's going to be fine, but especially by the time that these movies would even be ready to be released. But,
Yeah.
What do I know? I just actually work in the movie industry. So, they also announced a Pet Cemetery prequel, which is going to talk about the founding of the Pet Cemetery, pretty much. But okay, fine. That's not one that's another one like I'm not particularly interested, but okay, sure.
Okay.
They also cut their theatrical to home video window in half. The standard deal is 90 days, which is 3 months, which honestly is a long-ass time.
Mm-hmm.
Paramount movies, like A Quiet Place 2, Mission Impossible, because I forgot that Paramount owns the Mission Impossible franchise.
Yeah.
Those movies, they'll go to theaters. They'll be theater exclusive, just like anything else. But after 45 days, which is a month and a half, and is mostly enough to, most movies don't tend to make a ton of money after, 6-8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the big budget ones. Then they're going to be coming to Paramount Plus. So it's kind of the opposite of what HBO Max is doing, where HBO Max is theaters and HBO Max simultaneously, but they're only going to be on HBO Max for 30 days and then disappear until the rest of the window is up, and then they're on streaming services, on video on demand, or however it is they're doing that, which is weird, but okay. Mm-hmm. Paramount's just saying, look, how about, you guys get it exclusively, it'll be in theaters, we'll hype it up, blah, 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 because that's where they're going to make most of their money anyway. And then 45 days later, it's going to come to Paramount Plus exclusively. And then I don't know what the video on demand will be from there. But
okay.
I don't hate that. I think that's a rational compromise.
Yeah.
And and like I say, 90 days for anything to be in a movie theater is a long, long time. You're talking, 12 weeks, almost 13 weeks if it runs the full time, and most movies do not run that long. I've unless they are giant blockbusters or if they're the only thing out. I mean, we're still running Wonder Woman, and it's been almost has it been 3 months? 1, 2, not quite 3 months. But, we've had plenty of movies come and go since then,
Yeah.
And in the past, I mean, it's very rare that you see movies in first run theaters. You'll see plenty in like dollar theaters and that kind of thing for weeks after the fact. But your first run theaters, your big, Regal, AMC, Alamo Drafthouse, even though they filed for bankruptcy, interestingly, and unfortunately, but I think they'll bounce back and be good, because Alamo Drafthouse is a solid brand. But you're not going to see a lot of movies be in theaters. Nobody's going 3 months after the fact. It's not happening.
Right.
So I don't hate this. I think 45 days is a fair compromise. They also announced that the Halo series is going to be moving from Showtime, which is a CBS Paramount brand, to Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be their big. I think they're positioning that as their big opening salvo in the hey, we have arrived on the streaming scene.
One. Halo's a good one. That'd be a big one.
I think that's their big heavy hitter. They don't have a giant one to open with. Kind of like NBC when they launched Peacock, they had their library of everything, but it really wasn't until they finally got the rights back to The Office that then they were like, and by the way, boom, here we are.
Yeah.
HBO Max more or less had Watchmen in a sense. Right. It was like, here's our big one. Hulu has everything, they don't count. Disney Plus was, hey, we're here, we've got our library, blah, 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 wait for a little bit, boom, Mandalorian.
I wish that Paramount Plus and Peacock would just become the same app.
Yeah, but it's two completely different companies.
I know. It's just, ugh.
But,
wish they'd figure it out.
Well, somebody's going to...
apps.
Well, somebody would have to buy out the other one, and that's, getting... I know I championed the Disney-Fox deal because, I thought 6 studios was a tad much because I'm not actually in the business, and I have the luxury of spectating from the side and just wanting the content. But I think if we start trimming down even more studios, then we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, no, I don't want them to buy each other out. I'm just saying it'd be nice if it was in one place, one price.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
And then Nickelodeon, another Viacom property, announced a handful of things. One of which was basically just new episodes of Rugrats. It's not a sequel show. It's not another bite at All Grown Up or anything. It's back to babies.
Well, here's the thing. Who's good? We know Rugrats.
Yeah.
Kids these days don't know Rugrats.
But now they can.
To me, who's that show's for? Who is that show for?
It's for kids.
Do kids know Rugrats these days?
Kids don't need to know Rugrats to be like, hey, look, here's a new kid show. There's not really a lot of lore blocking the way to get involved in Rugrats, man.
No, you're right. I guess I just think of that like as a really old Nickelodeon show. I couldn't imagine kids these days have any idea what that is. But you're right.
Well, I don't think they need to. They don't have any idea of, hey, here's this brand new thing. So why should Rugrats does? You don't have to have watched the stuff from 30. God, it's been 30 years. From 30 years ago to understand what it is now. Like there's not a continuity, more or less.
Right.
So I think they'll be fine. I think kids will get it now, just like we did back then.
Mm-hmm. I saw they're doing a Patrick show.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's like a prequel with him living with, like him and his parents, and he does like a show every week or something. I don't know. The Patrick show, the Patrick Star show. It's called.
I think I remember they talked about that because they're doing. What is it? They're doing a camp prequel for SpongeBob. I forget, it was Camp something.
Why
But
are all these prequels? Why don't they just continue the show?
because they're also continuing the show.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
just thinking,
Oh, they
why
haven't canceled
is
SpongeBob.
it like
SpongeBob.
Yellowstone but with SpongeBob? SpongeBob 1886.
Yeah. It's young Sponge. I don't
Right.
know.
Exactly.
But they're still making SpongeBob. I mean, Can you believe SpongeBob's been on the air over 20 years now?
No, I didn't even know it was still going.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's still going. It's crazy. But
Yeah, that is wild.
yeah. But it's also gonna have three. It's the Rugrats show is gonna be 3D animated, which I always think looks weird, not just because it's Rugrats, but because that style of animation just I don't know. There's something about it I don't like.
Yeah.
But again, they're not making it for me. I am excited that the original cast is all involved.
Cool.
Like that's great. And they had that little
Oh, yeah.
30-second scene or whatever they released, and it still had the old music cues and everything. I was like,
Oh,
all right,
okay.
I will happily give this a shot. I will probably watch this and go, you know what? This was a lot better when I was 4,
Right.
because of course it was. But I love that they're looking at this and going, no, we can do this for kids today because this is just about being a small thing. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and they also announced the formation of Avatar Studios, which is going to be dedicated to producing more content in the world of The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. So
Yeah.
it's because when and all of this, all of the new Avatarness comes from the fact that when it went out streaming, Legend of Korra was something that succeeded in spite of Nickelodeon and Viacom. Like they sent the end of the last season out just to stream on their website. They sent that out there to die. And the fan base said, "Nah, that's not happening. We are going to make this something." And they did. And when it went on Netflix and spiked as hard as it did, they had to deal with, this actually really resonated with people and people really liked it, and we need to get over the fact that we're still trying to hold to old school ideas of what's okay on television, because
Right.
they were the executives were very anti Korra being bi. Like that was just that was such a just tremendously radical thing, and fought against it tooth and nail. And credit to the people actually on the show, the writers and animators and the voice actors who were just like, but it's it's the 21st century. Can we grow up a little?
Right.
Can we understand that there's a lot of different kinds of human out there? Like this why is this something that you're trying so hard to fight against?
Right.
But in spite of all that, and because of the fact that they were willing to push boundaries and do it in a good way, like Legend of Korra is a fantastic story on top of everything else. And it's like, and this, okay, yeah, it makes sense it's not, I hate the idea of like, and then they forced this, but there are times where you look at a character and you're like, yeah, that just doesn't make sense. This wasn't that, because it worked. It was like, okay, we told this story, and this was where it went. This was where it went. This was where it ended up. Cool. And so it's having its renaissance, and now it's really getting a renewed push behind it for more content. And I for one am excited for it, because I think it's a fascinating world. I don't know where the hell that came from. It is a fascinating world, and I'm down for more content. Hell yeah.
Now, a few things. This makes a lot of sense with them canceling the Netflix series.
Yeah, but they're not.
The Netflix series was canceled.
No, it wasn't.
That's what I read.
When?
They had differences. Didn't they bounce off of that?
They didn't cancel it. The creators left, but they didn't cancel it.
Oh, okay. So they have both departed from the show due to creative differences with the Netflix team.
Yeah.
And so they're building this studio. Didn't a lot of the writers move on to that Dragon Prince show?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The Dragon Prince was kind of the spiritual successor to Avatar.
Gotcha. So Nickelodeon or Paramount Plus they are opening up an Avatar Studios to make more Avatar content, but also Netflix has the live action rights. Still, you're saying?
Apparently.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting.
I don't know how far that'll
I feel
go.
like this is a little too late. Like I'm sure there's a ton of people who are still going to watch it. Of course, we are.
Yeah.
But I wish they would have done this 5 years ago.
Yeah, they should have.
Yeah,
they really should have, but they didn't.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think Avatar, just like Dragon Ball, it can go away for a long time and come back and have just the same amount of people watching it. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Should be good. I'm curious to see what comes out of it. I still haven't I haven't seen Korra yet. I got to watch that.
Yeah, you really do. It's very good. It is.
Yeah.
It is very good. It's the flips. I love the best way I've seen it, summed up is it is the flip side to Aang's journey. Aang is a kid learning to be Aang is a human learning to be Avatar. Korra is an Avatar learning to be human.
Right.
And it's so good. It's a really, really good show.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out.
And
cool.
Add that to your list.
Yeah.
So that was all the TV news, really, that I could dig up. Sticking with, we went from Disney Plus to Paramount Plus. Now we'll go to PlayStation Plus.
Right.
It's Plus week.
Right.
They finally announced the games from March. The PS Plus free games from March. Farpoint, Maquette, Remnant from the Ashes, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Right.
Why the Final Fantasy VII Remake? Well, because first off, they needed a big title, because you do when you're doing these weekly games. I'm talking to everyone who does these for their subscription services. And also, because there was a lot of Final Fantasy news this week.
Yes. Real fast, the Marquette game, or whatever it's called,
Yeah.
looks awesome. It's a puzzle game where it reminds me of The Witness, where you have to figure out a room, figure out what it's trying to get you to do to move on to the next one. It's got super high ratings on Steam. It's got 9 out of 10. Everything that I've looked at, it looks awesome. So that's one of those games where that looks like a low-key, probably one of the best ones on that list, but no one's talking about it.
Fair.
Whatever. But when I look at the reviews, I look at it looks awesome. If you're into puzzle games, this looks like the Witness-esque type of game where you're doing something and whatever. I forgot in the trailer, it looks like he is in kind of like a Disney World, but toys, if that makes sense. And he's doing something with an object, and then you suddenly outside of the building you see that same object moving. So it's all weird perspective puzzle stuff. So it looks really fucking cool though.
Nice.
But yeah, so shout out to that game. But yeah, Final Fantasy announcements.
Yeah, they did announce a PS5 upgrade, which will be free. Okay. Now there is a small catch with this. It will be free to anyone who has purchased the PS4 version. It will not be available to people who download the PS Plus version.
Right, that makes sense.
And I get that. They want you to spend some kind of money on their game.
Right.
Fair enough.
Right. Yeah. They're making it free to the people who purchased it, which is perfect. That's awesome. We want that moving forward instead of hey, spend $60 to get a little bit of extra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going to have it's going to have all of your upgrades that you'd expect. They did show side by side. Here's what it looks like. Here's what's going to be better. I like that it's brighter. I saw a lot of people online complaining about like, oh, and they got rid of so much of the darkness of Midgar, and I was like, good, that means I can see shit. Like,
Yeah.
it looks better.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very happy about that. They've got they're including a photo mode, which I'm usually meh about, but there's not a frame of this game that I wouldn't want to put up as a poster somewhere.
Right,
So
right.
I was really excited about that. And they also announced some related new story content. It's not mainline story per se, but it will be canon, and it will be something that anybody who wants to dig into part 2 should play.
Canon, in quotes. What is canon anymore with Final Fantasy?
Everything. It's all canon. This is just
Right.
different canon.
Exactly.
But this is basically it's basically Final Fantasy VII, the Yuffie chapter. So I am excited. It introduces Yuffie. It shows how her story is running parallel to what's happening in the game at the same time. And I'm stoked for it. Give me more content. I want more content. And this is a good tide over. I don't expect the remake to be announced until next year. The part 2 to be announced until next year. Let alone come out. I highly, highly, highly doubt we're going to get part 2 in 2022. I think it's a 2023 release. But the Intergrade, as they're calling it, is coming out June 10th of this year.
Okay.
So very, very much happy and excited for this.
Cool.
For sure. They also announced, we had talked about, Square Enix had trademarked Ever Crisis and the First Soldier. Ever Crisis is a stylishly PS1 looking chapter based game that covers all of Final Fantasy VII lore. Starting with the Crisis games and going through Advent Children and Dirge of Cerberus, it covers that entire timeline.
Okay.
And the original timeline, it won't cover the remake version of events. It looks like, which I'm fine with. That works for me. The interesting this one is going to be a mobile game, as is the First Soldier, and I'm okay with Ever Crisis being mobile. I'm a little, I don't want to say bummed, but I'm a little confused as to why the First Soldier is only a mobile title. Because Battle Royale games should have a console or a PC version.
You can do mobile Battle Royale games.
They work. I know they work. But I just
Royale, Tetris, Battle Royale, Mario.
Yeah. How well does PUBG really run on an iPhone?
Well, that's the thing. You
Galaxy.
literally have PUBG on an iPhone.
I know, but that's why I'm asking. Just how?
I didn't. Once they start talking about mobile games, I checked out.
Yeah,
because that's not anything I would want to play.
Exactly.
Those aren't the kind of mobile games I like to play. I like to play card games mobilely. Like there's other games that just fit that sphere so much better than a third person, whatever that's supposed to be.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But also just the idea of, you want more Final Fantasy VII? How about a Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale game? Everybody went, I'm sorry, but you what now?
Yeah. No, I agree. If they did it, if it was a bigger game and it didn't feel like a mobile game, then sure, that would actually be pretty cool for me.
Yeah.
At least. But yeah.
But so that was interesting news.
Yep.
And, we also got the Pokemon news this week. We got headlined by Post Malone covering Hootie and the Blowfish.
I loved it.
I mean, it was fine. Like
the Cowboys make him cry. I thought that was great. I'm a big fan of Post Malone though, so
it was fine. I enjoyed it because it was hey, by the way, remember when, we had mainstream people doing Pokemon songs? Like,
Yeah, I saw a clip where he pulled out a Game Boy and he's like, I carry around Pokemon Red everywhere I go. Because they were like, are you a real Pokemon fan? He's like, of course.
But
And he apparently got I guess he knows, what's his name? Who's the main singer from Hootie and the Blowfish? He's a country singer now,
Darius
right?
Rucker, yeah.
Darius Rucker, yeah. Apparently they've met. He got his blessing and everything, of course. So
Nice, there you go.
yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, we got some Pokemon games. Like, I feel like this is one of those where I'm the grouchy man. Everyone got what they wanted, but I'm like, just give me the old games. And they didn't give me the old games. But we got something that everybody's been asking for, right?
Yeah, we got we confirmed the Gen 4 remakes. Was it Brilliant? It's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, because why not?
It looks like a very updated version of those games. I kind of wish they would just do that for all of them. Like the originals, the last three, just put them out on the Switch. But yeah, it looks like a very updated version of those games. Looks pretty cool. And then we got the new one.
Yeah, Pokemon Legends Arceus. That will always be a soft C to me. I can't make that a hard sound.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. Why not? Something new based on something old. I'm okay with that.
What's interesting, I like the wrinkles in this, is that it's set a long time ago. This is the earliest we go with Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Where you're creating the first Pokemon decks. And it's like it's old timey. It's like, Feudal Japan or whatever it's called. I like that. And, it looks, I think what they did, and I hope it's just not a knee-jerk reaction to people going, give us Breath of the Wild Pokemon. That's what this looks like. And a lot of the leaks, which I can't say, obviously, if they're real or not, a lot of them are, you have endurance, you go up a cliff, you can jump off and have a glider. So it looks very much like that. I like that it's open world where you can throw the Pokeball and it can capture it. The battles apparently are sort of turn-based, but not. They're very much timed. And it depends on the speed of your Pokemon. So, like, a menu pops up where you can do moves and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's not the same kind of turn-based that every Pokemon game is.
Right.
Where the speed of your Pokemon actually matter with the type of moves that they do. So, until we get some legitimate footage of that, I'm going to hold off. But
fair.
Yeah, if it's a big open world Pokemon game, like legitimate open world, not, Sword and Shield have areas that are open, but then you go to very much go from point A to point B.
Right.
If it's legitimate, like Breath of the Wild, where you go exploring, holy shit, that's what everyone's been asking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Hopefully it will look a little bit better too, because it looked a little choppy. I'm assuming that this and like the Metroid game, they're all going to be pushed out on the new system. Which, did you see Bloomberg's article?
Yeah, about the 7-inch OLED 4K docked output switch.
Yep, 4 docked out. 4K on the dock, 720p handheld, which is perfectly fine. When it's a small screen like that, it's going to look crisp.
Yeah.
If and it's Bloomberg, so like they apparently have a legitimate source, and this has been rumbling for a while, and everyone's kind of been talking about it. They know that, and especially when Samsung's producing these, all this stuff leaks ahead of time. So hopefully this is out by Christmas. I'm assuming that's what they'll try to go for. I think it said they're going to start producing them in June or July. So hopefully, I don't. When do you think this would be coming out?
I think they would aim for holiday.
Holiday?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking holiday this year. I have the Switch Lite. I think I was going to purchase the regular Switch. I think I'm going to hold off.
Yeah, I'd wait.
Get that. Yeah, when it comes out. But yeah, imagine like an open world Pokemon game. That's That's awesome. And like I said, the only thing that I wish they actually did this presentation, I wish people would copy this because they gave the game that everybody kind of knew was coming, the remakes, and then at the very end of that, they're like, "We got more."
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like, "Here's Pokemon Sleep 2." It's no, we got this game that you guys have all been asking for. Like that's how you do a presentation. So I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool. But the only thing is the older games. I don't see why. Like there's so much money they're just wasting that I would buy all of them if they were like, hey, all the classics are on here, even the DS games like Soul Silver and Heart Gold and whatnot, and the remakes. They're all here. You can purchase them, $10, $20, whatever it is. I'd get every single one of them.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. We got all the Zeldas. We got all the Marios. I don't know if they're holding off on like a Game Boy or a DS virtual console. I don't understand.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. So anyway.
Oh well. In the meantime, I think it'll be good. I think it'll be a good time. Coming this holiday season, we can have all three major companies with console shortages. I think Nintendo was just feeling left out, honestly.
It's hard to get a Switch right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it on Amazon the other day. I was like, oh, I think I'd want one. And then a day or two went by. Nope, sold out. You got to wait until next month.
Yeah. There's a Monster Hunter Rise bundle that's out right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. They're what, $300? I was like, okay, well, I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I definitely think I'm going to wait for this OLED one. Because that's the main thing I miss about my Vita is the screen. It was gorgeous.
Fair.
Yeah.
But...
Cool. What else we got?
Anthem is Dead, officially.
Yep.
They were going to do that whole 2.0 relaunch and revitalize everything and, basically do what Destiny did, where they were like, oh, we done screwed up, and then fixed it. But since they're doing a Dragon Age and Mass Effect game, they said, nah, Anthem is just going to have to die. And so it is. I'm not too upset about it. I didn't buy it, so I don't feel like I wasted any money. But I feel for the people that do because, I really feel like this was just another tale in the saga of, oh, by the way, EA really hates people who play video games.
Yeah.
Because Anthem was just a giant lie. It was, here's all of this really awesome and amazing and cool stuff that you're not going to be able to do when it comes out. It turns out. So, it's, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But.
We'll see.
It's, hopefully that whatever they do with Mass Effect going forward is going to be going to be better than Andromeda anyway, because that was an unfortunate catastrophe.
Oh yeah, I mean I do like that. The silver lining is that we're going to get a single player Dragon Age game, and not a subscription, not subscription, but what do they call it? What's the games by service or that kind of game?
Games as a service? Is
games
that what
as a service. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, I'm just glad we're not going to be getting one of those for these coming out. That's what killed it.
Yeah,
because that's what they're going to do. Now I don't know.
Right. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And the last bit of news to clean up here was the most what the hell thing I've ever seen. Because apparently there is a Batman Fortnite crossover comic.
Oh yeah, there's been Marvel ones too.
Have there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I'm all for video games. I don't know if this is ever going to get kids to pick up a comic book, but hey, hit the kids what's popular. Fortnite's popular. Throw that at them. Get them mixed up in it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue it from a business perspective.
Yeah, it's nothing but good. It's one of those things like there's a million Batman books out there,
That's
so
fair.
it's not one I'm gonna pick up. But hey, if it gets a kid reading and like interested in that and the art or whatever, that's better than not doing it.
Fair
I still
enough.
think they should put comics in the Publix in the where you're cashing out, but whatever. I guess this is the way to go. This is gonna get more people to look at the characters.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah, because I know Marvel did a big one, but yeah.
Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about stuff we've been watching. Tomorrow is the season, perhaps series, because I don't know how they're going to run these things, finale for WandaVision.
It's got to be the series finale, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would think so.
Yeah, like how do you continue? I can't imagine a second season of here we go again.
Yeah, no.
She's in Louisiana this time or something.
Right. Paul Bettany went on record today and said that spoiler alert for everything up to where we're at with WandaVision right now. So if you haven't watched, run away and then go watch it and then come back. We'll wait. But he went on record saying that the blockbuster cameo that he was talking about was the reintroduction of the Vision that we saw in the last episode.
Wow, he fucking screwed the pooch with that one, didn't he?
Yeah, and he feels bad about it.
Yeah. Wow, that's a way to get your audience expectations insanely high.
Yeah.
As a joke. Oh yeah, I saw the creator, right, came out and said, or the director expects a lot of people to be disappointed by the finale over fan theories. So
I mean, that's fair. That's just a reasonable statement.
True,
because people are always going to be
comments
disappointed.
Definitely, probably hurt.
Well, if you're somebody,
those expectations,
not necessarily, because it's just the idea that it's really just a slightly more polite way of saying, "Hey, guess what? You're going to be wrong, and you're going to have to deal with it."
Oh no, I completely agree. Like this director, the problem that's the problem with any of these kind of shows that are like chock full of Easter eggs, exciting to watch week to week. You don't know what's going to happen, like Lost or whatever. And then by the end of it, if it doesn't live up to your expectations, people are disappointed.
Right.
This has exceeded my expectations so much. I don't think they can do anything to let me down. My expectations for the finale is we get some sort of closure to this story, and then it moves on into either Spider-Man or Doctor Strange. That's what I'm expecting. If at the end of this show we get no answers and everyone's dead, I'll be like, what just happened? Well, this is disappointing. But like, I'm not going to be disappointed if, Doctor Strange doesn't show up. If we get if Agatha like escapes, I can't think of anything that would make me disappointed because they've nailed every episode. But if I don't know, I'm looking for some sort of. I want them to wrap up the character story, if that makes sense.
Right.
I'm not looking for a Luke Skywalker moment, even though he joked about it and that would be exciting. That kind of already happened with Quicksilver showing up. That kind of was that moment for this show. That was a big twist.
Yeah.
I wish that he wouldn't have said anything about a big surprise at the end, because I imagine a lot of people who obviously don't listen to podcasts or don't pay it too close attention to YouTube or any of this stuff is not going to hear this guy say that and going to go, wait a second, my brother told me that Luke Skywalker moment was going to happen. I could see them being like, wait a second, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that happened in the last episode, that we got the White Vision, that's a huge Easter egg thing for Vision. To me, this means that Vision might not actually be dead. They might figure out a way to, combine what she created and the husk of the shell, and we might actually get some form of Vision back. So I'm more interested in that. I'm more interested in what does this mean for Wanda and Vision moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think, of course, you are too. That's what I'm so excited for tomorrow. But I have reasonable expectations.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. It's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
I I want to see what this means, you know, but I still think we're gonna have, just because of how much they've been talking about magic the last couple episodes. I really, really think we're gonna see some little Doctor Strange moment in the
Yeah.
finale.
Right. Absolutely.
And I'm okay with that. Like, I don't need him to show up and suddenly be a dramatic presence.
Hmm.
I mean, it's Benedict Cumberbatch in a floating cape. It's going to be fairly dramatic just in general. But I just,
I'm. Oh yeah.
I think there'll be that kind of setup moment, and I don't think it'll be much, but I'm still kind of holding out hope for that. What I'm expecting is, once the dust settles on this at the end of the episode, and she's looking for, well, they talked about magic. Where the hell do I go about magic? And there's a tease for Doctor Strange or something. I think that's the
Right.
more realistic look at it. But I would love for him to pop by for a minute.
It would make sense. And I'm also curious. Now, this is one of those things where he might be talking about fan theories or whatnot. Is it Agatha all along, or does she serve somebody? Is there she brings up Ralph every 2 seconds in the show? Is there, a lot of people think Mephisto's behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Is that going to be answered here or teased? Like, do they not say anything about the whole episode, but at the very end, he's revealed or something? Like, that's what I mean. Like, that does interest me, and maybe we don't get any of that. Maybe it is Agatha all along. Maybe we don't see Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But those are the things I am kind of interested. Like, are they going to wrap this up? Is that what he means by fan theories? I'm not expecting, Magneto to show up. It'd be fun. We've talked about that. Like, that'd be a cool moment, but realistically, he has nothing to do with the story.
Right.
So, but Mephisto, or what is it? What's the bad guy from Doctor Strange?
What, Dormammu?
Dormammu, yeah.
But we saw him already, and he is so vastly different than in the comics.
True, but it seems like that's where she's getting her power from. It's all purple. Just like that, in his realm, it's all purple. When the bad guys in Doctor Strange were doing bad shit, their eyes turned purple. I think that's where she's pulling from. I think she got that book from the library that Doctor Strange got his books. I'm also wondering, I completely forgot about this until I rewatched it. They set up Doctor Strange buddy as a bad guy running around killing people who do magical things. Too many sorcerers, he said at the end of it.
Yeah.
So does he pop in? Probably not, but those things are things that I've been thinking about. Like,
fair.
How could they? You don't want too many bad guys because it's literally just Wanda there. I don't want it too packed. I think that if there was one other person, that would be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, dude, Doctor Strange would be huge if he popped in, and he did pop in their Zoom meeting. So who knows?
That's fair.
He popped in and said hi. So that would be awesome if he popped in the show.
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see here in the next, was it 12, 13, 14, 14 hours? Oh.
Oh, yeah. And that's what Wanda needs. She needs someone to teach her how to control her abilities.
Yeah.
It's been chaos. That's the whole thing of the show.
Literally.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. And I loved the last episode. I loved how meta it was. I think it was called, like, Breaking the Fourth Wall.
Yeah.
Or the Fourth Wall or something like that. I loved the grief, the little moments that they had together, and Vision was talking about, like, what's the quote? What is the quote he used? Grief is just
what is grief if not love persevering? I think.
Yeah, I like that. Like, those are some of the best things that the MCU has done. Those little moments. Like, I remember watching that scene and going, "This is one of the best things the MCU's ever done." Like, there's no other moments that kind of stick with me like that.
Yeah.
Where he was just, that all this bad shit has happened, but like it's not all bad. That you do have moments of happiness, and I hope that she gets her. I hope she gets her vision back at the end. But I don't know. I loved that episode. I thought it was so good.
Yeah, it's been a tremendous show. It really
Oh yeah,
has.
you know.
And so I'm excited to see how this plays out in the end.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
We'll find out.
Oh yeah, one other part where she's introduced to the Mind Stone, and it comes to her, and she sees what we think is her, maybe from the future, or like just a vision, or an alternate version. Who knows? But it's the Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
and it was just it was such a cool scene. I loved it, and that how she obviously had these abilities before she was even introduced to it. So that's a quick way for them to be like, oh yeah, she was. If she is a mutant in this, that's how they could say she was a mutant. But this thing just amplified it,
Yeah.
right? It just brought everything out. So, yeah, I don't know. I really loved it. I look forward to Friday. I can't wait to talk about it next week.
Yeah. Nah, give me a good time. And I don't think I'm going to be disappointed in the finale. I have my theories, but I like seeing where they take things because they know what the hell they're doing.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we could sit here and talk about theories all day, but so far they have exceeded expectations, and I have faith that they'll do that for the last episode. And I don't think anyone's going to show up or anything like that. And if they do, that's a pleasant surprise.
There you go.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's it, unless there's anything else you wanted to review or.
No, nothing I can think of off the top of my head anyway.
Yeah. No. Oh wait, what did I watch? You know what? I forgot about it, so I guess it's not that important. Oh, you know what?
You disappeared. That's what you did.
Like that's still going. It's like on the third season.
Hang on, I lost you there for a few seconds.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, you good. Yeah, go back to you were just remembering what you had watched.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, so I remember I was watching American Gods.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On Stars.
Yeah, on Stars. God, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I think I kept seeing ads for it. I kept seeing ad after ad after ad, and I was like, you know what? I was just doing the Norse mythology book with Neil Gaiman, and of course he's the one who did American Gods, and I was like, yeah, I kind of want to jump on that, and it's so much more fascinating to me now than it was then for whatever reason, and so I like whenever a new god pops up, and I'm like Googling it. I'm like, okay, so who is she supposed to be? Who is this guy supposed to be? He's a spider. Oh, he's a Nigerian god. Like he takes all these gods from all the old gods and the new gods.
Yeah.
And the new gods are like gods of like money and stuff like that, and or technology. And so I don't know. It's been really cool so far. I've only watched the first couple episodes, but I'm probably going to go through that the next couple of weeks. So, yep, it's on Stars.
Nice, fun. I just saw somewhere that the Minions movie got bumped another year.
The Minions movie got moved a year?
Yeah, the sequel.
Oh, okay.
Because it was supposed to be it was supposed to have been last July, and now it was going to be, I think, this July, and I think they've moved it. I think I saw they moved it again.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, hang on. Here we go, real quick. From Deadline. Universal. Oh, they moved F9 too. They moved it a month. They moved it to June 25th. Minions 2 will now open July 1st, 2022 instead of July 2nd, 2021. And I think that's all they've moved. So because they bumped the next Fast and Furious movie a month, they bumped the next Minions movie a year.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Universal doesn't care about your children. They only care about people who are interested in Vin Diesel. So
Yeah.
But so yeah, more proof that Comcast is an evil company. But
Well, cool. Well, on that note,
yeah, on that depressing bombshell.
yeah. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure you go to our Facebook group, We Geek Podcast. Email us, wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. Twitter, @WeGeekPodcast. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Android podcasts. And we'll see you guys next week. Captain.